Hello viewers, welcome to Top Notch TV. With you is teacher Emis Jabani, a teacher of English and Literature, an examiner as well as an author. So this is a continuation of a section that we earlier on did on plot analysis of the story Cheque Mate. So this session we are going to look at the issues that emerge from that story, as well as a sample essay question from one of the best English revision books, English Guru. So what are the issues that are brought out in the story Cheque Mate? So we are going to look at two issues. One is betrayal and deception. So I have combined the two together because from this story it's very difficult to draw a line between the two. So betrayal and deception, and then the other one we are going to look at corruption, fraud and bribery, also as one theme: corruption stroke fraud stroke bribery. So we look at betrayal and deception. Who deceives who? So the first point here has been duped by Randall, and she would sign documents without reading them, all because Randall told her to do so. That is on page 100 and 107. We are told that at some point Randall would just come with so many documents together, and then she would just tell Sukiya to sign, and there was no need for her to read. So she would sign the documents without actually knowing what she was signing, because she believed in her boss Randall, and that is how she ended up signing the 5 million US dollar check without knowing, because it was amongst so many other documents that she was told to sign in a hurry. Number two, Randall uses Sukiya's pen to forge his own signature on checks, and he also lies that his ain't run out of ink. That is page 107 and 108. So when they were signing documents, he tells Sukiya that his pen had run out of ink, and then he borrows Sukiya's signature pen. So when after finishing signing the documents, he does not return the pen, because he knows that the reason as to why he had actually borrowed the pen in the first place. It's because he wanted to use the pen to forge signatures, so that it may look in the future as if it's Sukiya who forged Randall's signature. Yet it was Randall who was forging his own signature on the checks that he was using to pay Sukiya using Sukiya's pen. So according to him, the auditors will think that Sukiya stole the checkbook and forged Randall's signature so that she can pay herself, or so that she can commit fraud. Then number three, Randall gives Sukiya a share price to quote in the valuation of shares for the Medano company, yet Randall knew that it was actually the half or 50% of the actual price. So Sukiya, being the corporate secretary, was assigned the responsibility of drawing contracts. But sometimes Randall would just help her and give her information to write on those contracts, and she believed her boss. So during this Medano sale, or the shares of the Medano, Randall gave Sukiya the shares price to quote on the contract. And now she later comes to learn that actually what she quoted on those contracts was 50%. She had undervalued the shares by 50%, and that can be said to be fraud. So it is betrayal coming from Randall, because Sukiya believed in him, and so he ended up throwing her under the bus. Now the fourth incidence of betrayal is that Sukiya feels betrayed by her father. That is page 103. We are told that her father was an account clerk, and so at some point he was given a scholarship that was supposed to enable Sukiya to go to school. But after receiving that money, what the father did was drink the money and then go and beat Sukiya's mother. We also see at some point later in life, Sukiya actually avenges that incident when her father falls sick, and she was in a financial situation to actually help him get the best treatment and even have a transplant. She does not do so because she bitterly remembers what he did when he got the money. she feels betrayed by her father as she grew up, and so she feels like she owes him nothing. Sorry. Randall also deceives everyone so as to keep the company afloat and protect himself. He is the master. Actually, Randall can be said that he is the master of deception. He keeps on giving people kickbacks so that they can keep their mouth shut. He keeps on forging signatures and uses all the tactics that he can think of to keep his company afloat and moving. He does not care about his employees. He only cares about himself, keeping his name or his reputation safe, as well as keeping the company afloat. The second theme we are going to look at is the theme of corruption, stroke fraud, stroke bribery. So the first incident or the first example we have is Sukiya avoids encounters with bank managers because they might wonder how a salary of 50,000 Trinidad dollars accumulates to $7 million in 6 years. Page 99, she says, the manager will know enough to make educated guesses. Remember, this money did not accumulate to 7 million because of a salary. It accumulated because of the kickbacks that he was given by, or it was constantly being given by Randall, and actually that was a way of committing fraud. She would get more than her own salary for assisting to create loopholes in the business deals. The second one is Sukiya is hired as a corporate secretary to create loopholes instead of mending them. Page 103. She gets paid a lot of money for creating those loopholes. So when she was initially employed, she thought that her way, and job description was to make sure there were no loopholes in the contract. But on the contrary, she was supposed to create those loopholes. Like, for example, by undervaluing the prices of shares or prices of any investment and giving the company or her company profit. So that is actually another means of corruption. Then number 3, we have Sukiya gets paid $5 million to keep her mouth shut. So that is the 5 million check that actually gave her stress. So from Randall's point, the money was meant to buy her loyalty or to keep her mouth shut because of the methanol deal that was not legal, because they undervalued it by 50%. So that's corruption. Then the Chinese company actually that was involved in the methanol deal gave them a huge kickback. And as a result, Sukiya was given the 5 million check, which to Randall was just what? Pocket change, because he had made lots of money from that deal. Then number 4, we have Randall implicates Sukiya with fraud when he forges his own signature. That's fraud. I had already explained that in our first theme. So he uses Sukiya's pen to forge his own signature so that it can look as if Sukiya stole the checkbook and forged Randall's signature to get company's money. Then number 5, Randall's company sponsored many campaigns and politicians' pet projects. So we are told that his company was untouchable. So that's why it was full of fraud. There were so many cases of fraud because they were untouchable. Most of the politicians were on their side because they needed the money from the company to sponsor their campaigns as well as support their pet projects. The media houses as well. He had shares in every leading media house, and so whenever there was some case of embarrassment in the public, the media houses and the editors would never publish anything that would tarnish the company's name, because they risked losing out on this company, since the company was a shareholder in all the leading media houses. So it's like Randall was trying to buy every powerful person in the country to his side, because he knew the kind of deals his company was involved in. The media was on his side, the politicians were on his side, because he used to pay them or in one way or the other, they used to benefit from his company so that they can keep their mouths shut. So that's what we have for the themes and for the issues. Two major themes. Remember, our learners, we can actually have more than two themes, but these are the major ones, and so we stop at that point on themes. The next part, we are going to look at an essay question from top-notch English guru on Checkmate. So the question I have here reads, greed can blind one's eyes. Greed can blind one's eyes. Justify this statement using illustrations from Kelvin's Story Cheque Mate. I'm not going to break this essay down into various sections of essay writing because we have a complete episode on that. Press that subscribe button and check on how to tackle essay questions as well as how to tackle English paper 3 that we have done earlier, or that we did earlier. So the introduction we have here is, when desire for material things outweighs humanity, then one can do anything just to acquire that which he or she desires without a second thought on the consequences. That you are not even thinking because you are so greedy for material things. There's something that you yearn for, such that you don't think about the consequences of your actions in an attempt to achieve your goal. So the first point reads, first, Sukia does not question the FT pay rise and constant checks because she is blinded by greed. She is now paid 5 times more since a promotion. She intentionally avoids dealing with the bank manager because he might wonder how a $50,000 a month salary became $7 million in 6 years. She knew she was being overpaid, but she did not find it necessary to find out the reason why. She now enjoys the wealth and opulence given to her by the company. She is among the country's 1% of highest income earners. It later dawns on her that Randall was duping her and using a name to cover his, thus the extra pay. Now she should face the law and is on the verge of being thrown in prison, all because of a love for good life. So this point is telling us that Sukia was greedy for good life or soft life, like most of you love to say, and she actually turned a blind eye on all the things that Randall was doing. There were red flags all over. Because, for example, why do you keep on getting side checks, yet you have a monthly pay and you don't question all that? So why should the company pay for all your expenses and you don't question that? After getting a promotion, why should your salary be 5 times what you used to get and still not question that? So the red flags were there, but a desire to have a good life actually makes her blind to all those red flags that were thrown about by Randall. The second point reads, secondly, Sukia is selfishly thinking about herself and abandons a family. 7 years ago, when her father died, Sukia had just completed law school and was making enough money to take care of her father's specialized treatment. Her father died from kidney failure because of lack of dialysis machines. They were only 2 in San Fernando Referral Hospital. Sukia was making enough money to take her dad to a private clinic or send him to Pakistan for a transplant, but she does not. She lets him die. She has numerous property and houses in various countries, yet she's still thinking of how she's going to inherit her mother's 3-bedroom house. She's so obsessed with material things, she forgets family is important. So that's the part where we say that she does not forgive her father for the thing that she did when she was a child, when her father actually got some money to sponsor her to school. He drank the money and beat Sukia's mother. So as a result of that, Sukia lets him die. She does not treat him, yet she had enough money to do so. We also thought that she has property in the country and outside the country, but she still keeps on saying that she's going to inherit her mother's 3-bedroom house. So it's like her mind is set on wealth, not on the well-being of a family. She abandons a family for the sake of material possession. The third one, Sukia thinks of running away from 5 million, running away with $5 million check. She thinks of the innovations she can do in a house in London, or buy an adjacent unit in Miami, or buy a 6-bedroom house with a swimming pool in gazebo. She imagines how it would hurt her to return the money if Randall had made a mistake writing the check. She even dresses seductively in case it turns into a negotiation for her to keep the check. Clearly, Sukia was so materialistic to even disregard her morals. So she's actually thinking about what this money can do for her. She doesn't question where this money is coming from, and she is so determined to keep the check in case it was a mistake that she even decides to dress in a way that it would please Randall in case they get into a situation where they have to negotiate. If the negotiation part comes, then her appearance will work to her advantage. That's why we are saying that she's so much focused on material possession that she disregards even her own morals. The last one, lastly, she's so thrilled with the idea of having lots of money that she fails to question any advice given by Randall. She signs documents without reading because Randall tells her to sign. She also opens a savings account where $50,000 went automatically every month. This money never showed in a real account. She does this following Randall's advice. She never questioned anything Randall told her just because his company paid her lots of money. She later realized that her greed almost landed her in prison. So this still is related to the first point, the red flags. That because Randall was giving her lots of money, because she did not want to lose out on the benefits that were coming from being an employee of this company, she turns a blind eye on all the bad things that Randall was telling her to do, and she does exactly what Randall tells her to do without even questioning. At the end of it all, the consequences is she almost ends up in prison because of the fraud that Randall and committed or engaged in using her name. So conclusion reads, truly, it is a wise thing to be contented with what one has and to live a peaceful life rather than sell peace for money. So the conclusion we have here is like a piece of advice or a moral lesson, something we learn from Sukia, that contentment is important. Don't be greedy for material things and forget what is important in life. Things like family, things like dignity and your moral values and so on. So that marks the end of our essay as well as the end of our session today. Do not forget to press that subscribe button for more educational materials. Also, tune in to Top Notch Kids Station and get educated with all the channels that are so entertaining and so educating for the young ones. Until next time, bye bye.